In John's first letter, he explains that God is light, and we should walk or live in the light with our behavior appropriate to someone who wants to be in the light. But he also notes that we have a problem. In verse 8, he says, if we claim to be without sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. As Paul wrote in the book of Romans, everyone has sinned, and everyone continues to struggle with sin. No one can claim to be living in a state of sinless perfection. So what do? Verse 9 says, if we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. So we are supposed to admit it. Instead of thinking that we have perfect self-control, the best thing is to admit that we don't. And Jesus will forgive us and take away all our unrighteousness. So we are guilty, we appeal to Jesus, and all our shortcomings are erased from the record. We go forward only by going with Jesus. We can never go forward on our own. In verse 10, John puts it in the reverse. If we claim we have not sinned, we make him out to be a liar, and his word is not in us. If we act like we don't need him, when he says that we do need him, then we are contradicting him. If we claim to be without sin, then our claim is a sin. Everybody needs Jesus, and we need him all the time. In the next verse, John says, my dear children, I write this to you so that you will not sin. I don't want you to sin, but I know that you will. The fact that Jesus will forgive you does not mean that it's okay to sin. As he said a few verses earlier, if we walk in darkness, the truth is not in us. That's not the right way to go. Sin is not a good thing to do. It's wrong. That's why we need forgiveness. But do not make the mistake of thinking that easy forgiveness means that Jesus doesn't care. He does care. He does not want us to sin. But, John writes, if anyone does sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous one. Jesus is our advocate. That's the word for a defense attorney. It's like we are in a court accused of a crime, and Jesus is trying to convince the judge that we should not be punished. But this is just an analogy. We shouldn't take it too far. Jesus is not up in heaven arguing with the Father about whether he should let us go free. There is no argument. God the Father is just as much on our side as Jesus is. After all, God the Father is the one who sent Jesus to do what he did for us. The point of the analogy is not that Jesus wins an argument, but that he achieves for us the same results. He gets us off the hook. We are cleansed, considered righteous, considered in a right relationship with God because of what Jesus has done. And it's already been done. There never was any argument about it. We don't have to worry about the Father changing his mind. He sent Jesus to do his job, and Jesus did it right. We confess that we need forgiveness, and he forgives us. God doesn't want us to sin, but when we do, we don't have to worry about it. Our advocate has already done his job, and he has done it perfectly.